What you're about to hear is a true story. To protect the privacy of those involved, some names and locations have been changed. This is the story of Philadelphia convicted murderer, Hoard Bishop. The sky over Philadelphia on September 6, 2008 was a bruised, angry gray. Rain fell in relentless sheets, drumming a frantic rhythm on the roof of the blue 1992 Oldsmobile as Jermaine Myers sat behind the wheel. It was 5:30 in the evening. The storm made it feel like dusk. In the passenger seat, his nephew, Jeffrey Hastings, stared out at the flooded streets. They needed to leave, but leaving meant driving past the corner of Gratz and York, and everyone knew who owned that corner. For 3 weeks, a cold fear had gripped Jermaine's life. It started with a confrontation. He had called out a man from the neighborhood, Hoard Bishop, for stashing drugs in the manholes on their block. The threat that followed was unspoken, but heavy. Since then, Jermaine had lived like a prisoner in his own home. He would call his mother, Bernice Meyer, before he came home, asking her to look out the door and check if the corner was clear. He felt threatened, she would later testify. He was scared. Today, the fear was a tangible thing inside the car. Before putting the car in drive, Jermaine unholstered his .45 caliber handgun. He didn't want it on him. He passed it to his nephew. Jeffrey took the heavy firearm and placed it on his lap. A cold and unwelcome wait. They had to go. They pulled away from the curb, the car's tires slicing through the puddles, heading directly toward the corner they dreaded most. They were approaching the intersection when a figure materialized from the downpour, as if born from the storm itself. It was Hoard Bishop. He was just 5 to 10 feet away when he raised a gun. There was no warning. The first shots exploded, shattering the passenger side window where Jeffrey sat. Glass sprayed across the interior as Jeffrey instinctively ducked, the bullets tearing through the space where his head had been moments before. Bishop wasn't finished. He moved with a predator's purpose, circling the front of the car. He appeared at the driver's side window, his face a mask of cold fury. He raised his gun again and fired 6 or 7 more times, the shots deafening inside the small car. Jeffrey, his ears ringing, lifted his head. Through the rain and the chaos, he saw Bishop, the man his uncle had pointed out to him so many times. Acting on pure instinct, Jeffrey raised the big .45 caliber pistol from his lap and fired a single shot back at Bishop. The sound of the return fire startled Bishop. He turned and ran, disappearing back into the rain, still shooting wildly over his shoulder as he fled. The immediate danger was gone, but the damage was done. Jermaine drove the car another 20 feet up the block before slumping over the wheel. "I'm shot," he exclaimed. "I'm shot." Panic set in. "I need to drive. I need to drive." Jeffrey yelled, scrambling over the center console. He pushed his uncle into the passenger seat and took the wheel, stomping on the accelerator. He raced toward Temple University Hospital, car hydroplaning on the wet streets. As they swerved toward the emergency entrance, Jermaine went limp. He blanked out, Jeffrey said, and fell from the seat. At the same time, Jermaine's girlfriend, Elvira Dat, was checking her phone. She had a new voicemail. When she played it, a chill ran down her spine. It was Jermaine's voice, strained and desperate. I've been shot, he pleaded. "I can't breathe." Underneath his panicked words, she could hear another voice, one she recognized as his nephew Jeffrey, yelling, "I need to drive. I need to drive." It was a recording of the last terrifying moments of Jermaine's life. For 3 days, Jermaine Myers fought for his life, but the gunshot wound to his abdomen was too severe. He died in the hospital, leaving behind a family shattered by a senseless act of violence born from a simple request to keep their street clean. Hoard Bishop was convicted of third-degree murder, aggravated assault, and possession of an instrument of crime. and the court sentenced him to an aggregate term of 16 to 32 years in prison. But his story of violence wasn't over. While serving his sentence, he attacked a female corrections officer who was trying to help him contact his mother. He followed her into her small office, grabbed her, and tried to assault her. She fought back, and in a moment of freedom, she screamed with everything she had. Her scream saved her. Other officers heard it and rushed in. Bishop was convicted for that attack too, his sentence extended. In court, he was unrepentant, a man defined by the violence he inflicted. His actions, both on the rain-soaked streets of Philadelphia and within the cold walls of a prison, painted a clear picture of a man who answered every conflict with rage, leaving a trail of broken lives in his wake. The story you just heard was true. Some of the names, locations, and other identifying details were changed in efforts to protect the privacy of the individuals involved.